you have the possibility of the floaty. And you will inflate the floaty enough until when you have it in the cervical spine, the head is actually touching the tape. It's a little bit too inflated. But it's not too bad, because when I even put a little bit of pressure on the side, she's going to feel that the floaty is pushing the cervical spine forward. So you have two possibilities. She can do the 15 degrees cranial rotation and press with the head back and the neck back into the floaty. Relax and let go. Rotate anteriorly and press back into the floaty. So she's doing the same thing that the pumping, and you're seeing the level moving up and down. And you can see that this becomes very enlarged. See that? Mm-hmm. So just make sure that you're not increasing the activity of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Lift your head a little bit. If you see that, that's wrong. So just rotate a little bit anteriorly and do axial extension. All right? And relax. Now, once you've done this as a sequence, I will bring the head up and I will put the floaty behind the occiput. And in neutral, with your head in neutral, just push back on the floaty. And release. Do it again. You see how the chest comes forward? Oh, you have paravertebral muscle activity. Fantastic. I'll have to take a picture of that. Relax. Now, just whoever, come over here. Just put your fingers in the paravertebral muscles. Gently lifting this. And you say, now, when you feel that muscle contraction. Big, nice muscle contraction of the extensors. And then you take the floaty and you put it in the cervical spine. And you say, bend your head forward and press back. Now you're working what? The prevertebral muscles. So you work the prevertebral. And then you move it up to the occiput. And now you work on the paravertebral. From the same position.
Why is her chest coming up?
Oh, she just wants to become larger.
Oh.
No. It's because when she does that, you're changing the point of insertion to origin. So this is pulling up towards the occiput.
Oh, okay.
Good. But you can't just do motor control of the cervical spine without doing the contrast activity of the prevertebral muscles by activating the paravertebral muscles. Now, you don't do this on the same day. You add it up one situation a day. After you have worked on cervical extension to restore cervical lordosis. So you find this difficult to do? Do you feel the resistance of the floaty on the cervical spine? And it's a nice, very flexible. And in little kids, we give them floaties with Mickey Mouse, Donald Ducks, and so on.
You have to give them two so they can use
So,
them in the pool.
Target, Walmart are going to become famous on cervical stabilization. Buy a floaty and stabilize your cervical spine. The new device, and they'll come out with different colors, different instructions. And then you get, with the price of one, you get 2 patients to treat. So I have floaties all over the office. You see the difference of muscle activity? And it's very strong. Here it seems to be easy, but actually the muscle, if you palpate the muscle when she does that, are like a rock behind the head.
So she's causing extension in her bone?
Occiput is pulling straight back to activate the extensors, the occiput back. But then when you put the floaty on the cervical spine, she's trying to push with the cervical spine down to activate the longus colli in the front of the neck.
Okay.
So you're balancing between longus colli with paravertebral, maintaining the pharyngeal muscles relaxed, so that the pharyngeal muscles were not going to act against the effect of the longus colli.
With that stability cuff, you're looking at the dial to make sure they're not putting too much pressure, but with the floaty, you're just making sure they're not activating the SCM.
Yeah, just doing the SCM. So we did a lot of things with the sphygmomanometer too. And then we realized it was much easier with the floaty. Much easier, and you can give it to the patients to work with. And you can use the sphygmomanometer and just tell the patient, okay, now press back, okay, that's enough, that's 10 or 15 or whatever. That's the much pressure you need to do, okay? You don't need to do more than that, and you have already measured it. So, the floaty and the TheraBand, you'll know how to work with that. What I want you to do, basically at this time, is the concept of working with your patient prone. Do the long axis distraction, hold occiput right on top of the shoulder, girdle, distract. Then find a spinous process, go laterally, keep your fingers together, and distract the segment. Then you move to the other segment, and you distract the segment. And once you've done distraction at each independent level, then you get to C2, hold the head, and move, and feel C2 moving into extension. Then you may distract it, go to C3, move back C3 on C4, then you go to C4, and you move C4 back on C5 until you get down to C7. So every vertebra has moved into extension. Then the patient learns how to do that actively, and they will do it against resistance with the TheraBand.